Gabriel, thank you for being here. Say hello to the people that are listening today.
Thank you, Sal. Hi, everybody. This is Gabe.silva with ClearCaptions. And Sal, I'm excited to be here today to share some information out there in the community that they're probably not aware of. It's something that it's a great benefit for those that need it. And I'll get into more details in a second, but thanks for having me here. I really appreciate it.
Oh, well, thank you for being here, for taking your time. Like I said, finally we were able to connect. I know sometimes it happens, little scheduling conflicts, but it's working out. You're able to be with us here today. Give us a little bit of background before we get started. Are you from San Antonio, or anything maybe interesting that the listeners would like to hear about?
Well, I've actually lived here for about 23 years now, originally from California. Moved out here, and me and my wife decided, we told each other we'll probably be back in California in a year. That was 23 years ago. So, yeah, we love it here. It's a great place.
I think it's a little bit, I know a lot of people say, it's a lot cheaper here than California. And I know that that's usually the case. So a selling point, I guess, because it's like, man, California's pretty expensive.
Yeah, well, we really like the people out here. It's just a great place to raise a family. We raised a daughter here. So she's 23 now, and everything's going great.
Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah. And on top of that, I know the food isn't bad either. So.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people, we had a pastor, our associate pastor, that came from New York about a little over a year ago. And he said, man, I've always wanted to be in Texas, and finally God opened the door for him to be here. But he says, man, he says, I've kind of grown from when I got here to now. Uh-huh. And I'm thinking, okay, well, you've grown to like San Antonio? He said, no, I've grown like literally my waistline is expanded, because of the good food that's here. And that'll happen, all them tacos, and, so it's a good thing. And, and I know it's something that's one of the key selling points when people come here, the good food as well. So you came here 23 years ago. When you got here, what was the first thing you were doing? Was it because of the business, or because? It
was a job transfer. And, I've been in sales for a long time, and there's always something that you can join some great organization. And right now, I found it with ClearCaptions. Okay. This is a great organization where it's the first for me to actually offer a product and service and not charge for it. Okay. This is so awesome. It's a great feeling.
So it's something that what I'm looking at here has to deal with communications, if you want to get technical about it, right?
Sure.
It is something that I believe, we have a variety of people that come here, insurance and a lot of things that, as you're a little younger, you don't really even think about these things until you start kind of getting older, and you realize, you know what, I'm going to probably have to need that, or I didn't think about that, but yeah, things do change as far as, when you're younger, you don't need as much, and as you get older, there's a lot more things that, I'm going to need this, or I'm starting to realize that, you change, just your eyesight alone, you're like, you have to put your glasses on, and I usually use my phone to put the light on, and so I can read what I'm reading at a dim light, restaurant or somewhere. But those do change, that things that you don't realize. And what I'm looking at here is, I know some type of communication that says, see every word. And that's what I was just talking about. Your calls are captioned whenever and wherever. So give us a little detail about what this program is, and how does it benefit people?
Sure. So let's just say I know you or somebody probably have been in a conversation on the phone where the other person told you, can you repeat yourself? I didn't actually hear what you said. So this is for those that are experiencing some kind of hearing loss, and they have trouble hearing on the phone.
Right.
They need help hearing on the phone. That's what this is designed for.
Okay. So that's another thing that goes to your hearing, right?
Exactly. And, just like when you watch TV, the closed captioning, you see the words on the bottom of the screen, you could read what's going on. This telephone here has captioning on the screen where you can read what the other person is telling you. Okay. So it's a great phone. It amplifies the sound pretty loud as you want it to get.
Okay.
But it also has the words that come up, so you can read while you're having that communication. And here's the thing. a lot of folks out there, when they're experiencing difficulties hearing on the phone, they start to shy away. They start to not be on the phone so much, right? So this is designed to bring them back their independence so that they can communicate with their loved ones on the telephone again. They can make the phone their friend again.
Right, and it's so critical, especially for elderly people, because a lot of times some of them are alone at home, or they can't. I know my mother-in-law. She's a little older now, but you start to see those things where they can't hear the phone, or they can't. Something's there that how can we help them to be productive, right? Not just because they're getting a little older, but being able to have something for them to say, okay, it's another level now, because like I said, when you're young, you don't think about these things, and then you start getting older and you realize, I thank God that I can hear right now. My problem is more like looking at certain things, but yeah, when you don't understand or know that these things are available, it just makes your life a little more difficult.
Yeah, it sure does.
And so this enables you to have a little bit more of saying, okay, at least I can hear or I can see, and be better for it.
Yes, it is a great phone. If you look at it, it does have the screen for the captions. It also has an answer machine built into it, which is also captioned for you. It has a volume control. You can increase that. You can amplify that sound pretty loud for the ringer or for the talking on the phone.
Okay.
It also has a bright light on the top that flashes when the phone's ringing.
Oh, so
if you don't hear it, you can see it.
You can see it.
And it also flashes, of course, if there's a message waiting for you. It has a handset, just like a regular phone. It also has a speakerphone built into it. So it's a wonderful phone. It's actually valued at $500. But this actual phone, I can get to the community at no cost.
Wow. So basically, I like the word free.
Yeah.
And I think when you say free, you get people's attention, right?
It's hard to find that nowadays.
Yeah, but definitely.
Yeah, and I'll tell you how it works.
Okay.
It's done through the Americans with Disabilities Act, Title IV. It's a federal program.
Okay.
So they established a fund that requires all the telecommunication companies in the U.S. to put a fraction of their fees into this fund. So that's how we get paid.
And it's true, like I said, there's a lot of resources out there that people aren't aware of, and they think, well, that was good, but how much is it going to cost me? Or they're just not aware that there's so many things out there. And this is why what Bridging the Gap, again, I keep saying that over and over, is about, that we want to bring these type of things and let our audience know, let our listeners know. Bridging the Gap is specifically for that, bringing all these things together, networking and collaborating and saying, this is available.
Yep.
This is available. And a lot of times people are like, man, well, we were kind of, dealing with this certain problem, but this may be the answer to the problem.
Yeah, it sure can be. And, it's easy to qualify. Of course, you have to be experiencing some kind of hearing loss that requires you to need help hearing on the phone. You have to have internet service in your house and an active landline.
Okay.
Those three things, and you can get this phone installed in your house for free. And we'll teach you how to use it. A very wonderful, wonderful product.
So I'm curious, how does because you're saying, I know I just got internet installed here in the office where we're at, the studio, and I know they I was more needing the internet, not necessarily a phone line, but they said, well, it comes with a phone line. So you have to have the internet as far as for what purpose for the phone to operate, or what is it needed for?
In order for the captions to work on the screen, it has to go through the internet. So that's how that part works. And it has to have a landline. And like you said, a lot of times the modem for the internet will have a jack on the back that you could plug the phone into. As long as it's active, it has to be active. Right.
So I understand now, because of the it's kind of transcribing your voice into text.
Exactly.
It's kind of like Google, so to speak. I know I use Google sometimes, and I'll say, hey, can you look for so-and-so restaurant or whatever, and it kind of types it out. So it's very similar to what this is doing.
Yes. And also the captions, one thing I want to add, I could actually make those captions, the fonts, I can make them really big. So
it helps them out if they're having trouble, looking at. Is that during like when it's the evening or something, or it's in the dark room? Does that light up as well? So I'm assuming they can see the text.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Now I'm also looking at a cell phone right next to it. Now, how does that integrate, or how does that work with the system that you have here? So
the way it works is, say you have the phone, the big phone, the home phone installed in your house.
Okay.
And you also happen to have an iPhone. We can also put an app on your iPhone So when you're out and about, you could still be using the caption services on your iPhone.
Okay. So does it have to be an iPhone?
At this point, it's only iPhone, but we're working on Android, so that should be available soon.
Yeah. And I don't have an iPhone, so my phone, like I told you, just last night decided to finally go to cellular heaven or wherever they go to. But that's a good thing, though, because it gives you an option not only when you're at home, but also if you do have an iPhone, to be able to take it with you wherever you're at. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at some of the things here that again, we've touched on some of these things. That Spaz Dial connects, adjusts the font size, which you said already. Uh-huh. What more, other than what you have already said, what are some of the benefits of having this phone?
I think the best benefit is having the folks out there that are shying away from the phone to actually use the phone again, communicate with their family members, especially the ones that are out of town in another state, just the family members that aren't nearby, they could communicate with them once again.
Well, it's a good thing. Like I said, things change and you don't realize these things as you get older, that, at some point you may need something like this. I'm looking at this, and I don't know if it may benefit my mother-in-law. I don't know. I have to talk to my wife about that. But
okay.
That would be something that I know they deal with a lot of things now, because they weren't, like I said, they weren't used to it. As when she's independent, she's, no need to be there, and, she can hear the phone, or just all these little things that you're not aware of. But as you get older, you realize those things will eventually do happen.
Yeah.
So you said that there's no cost involved with this, and how do they, if someone maybe is interested or would like more information about the phone and everything that comes with it, where can they reach you, or where can they contact you?
Sure. The best thing to do is to call me.
Okay.
And I'll give you the phone number. It's 210-816-6267. 210-816-6267. And I'll give the number out again in a couple of minutes.
Sure.
If anybody needs to grab a pen and paper.
Yeah, like I always say, we always ask, in the very beginning, I know I didn't do it this time, but we always say, hey, have a pen and piece of paper ready, because we do have information that we want to give out. And don't worry, if you're some people are listening to us on the radio, in their vehicle. That's okay. I don't want you to have an accident. I don't want you to start writing down.
Right.
If you need to, after we do the airing of this, today on KDRY, what we started to do, if you're not aware, we are having our YouTube channel, which we are now not just recording the audio part of it for our listeners on the radio, but we also are putting the interview through video on our YouTube channel. So if you want to go back and visit some of our interviews that we've done, we started about maybe a little over a month ago. So we started almost at the beginning of the year, at the last year. We have about, I think, 5 or 6 interviews already on our YouTube channel. We invite you to go and subscribe. Go and look at, the interviews that you might have missed on the radio on Saturdays. And again, that's the YouTube channel. Go under Bridging the Gap Radio Talk Show. There it will take you, or should take you, to our channel, and click on some of the interviews. Let us know. Subscribe. We want to make sure that you're liking what we're doing, or maybe you have any suggestions or comments. We also invite you to visit our Facebook page at facebook.com BTG Radio 1. There we also have some of our past interviews that we've done throughout the years. You can go back and check some of those out. But we're probably going to maybe utilize more the YouTube channel and have a link on our Facebook also about the interviews that we've done in the past as well. So please go out and like our Facebook as well. If you'd like to contribute, if you'd like to be a sponsor about Bridging the Gap Radio Talk Show, we definitely invite you to do that. You can call me directly at area code 210-550-1966, or if you have any questions, or if you'd like to be one of our guests here on Bridging the Gap as well, we invite you to contact us again through the Facebook, or call me directly at area code 210-550-1966. Definitely we want to hear what you have to say. If you have any suggestions, or maybe someone who would be a great guest here. We also take those. And we want to be able to, like I said, share all this information with our listeners, and it benefits everybody, because a lot of times what we don't know, we can't get. So the more we know, the more we empowered we become. It just doesn't benefit us, but we can also share it with our family or our friends who may benefit from it at the same time. Gabriel, what more do we need to know about this, other than it's something good that people need to have in their house? It would help them with being able to hear or read.
Well, it's great because all the calls that come in that are captioned are stored into the phone, unless you want to delete it, of course. But it's a good way to reference some of your past calls. Okay. Maybe you want to reference what did the other person say about this, or whatever the case is. It's stored in the phone.
Okay. So I'm just thinking about it. I'm looking at the phone. The other person on the other line, when he calls, so that's going to get transcribed as they're talking, and it comes out on the phone.
Exactly. Everything on the phone, the words coming up, is from what the other person is saying. The person that owns this phone, you won't see your words. Okay.
So is it only the text, or can at the same time you listen to what the other person is speaking in conjunction, or is it just you can do one or the other?
Well, you're talking on the phone, you could hear them, you could raise the sound, but the words are still coming up as well.
Okay. And you said you just have a speaker phone, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. There's a speaker, then there's a handset as well.
Yeah, I think that's important too, because I know, sometimes it's kind of hard for them to hold something in their hand, or, they may have arthritis, whatever the case may be, so it makes it really easy for them just to punch the button and just be able to hear without having to lift the headset or the handheld.
Mm-hmm. The hands-free is always easier.
Right. So, again, just let those who may be tuning in right now, what is it that we're talking about? And it's free, so I'll throw that out so you won't change the station here.
Yeah, it's a captioned phone for those experiencing a little hearing loss that requires them to need help hearing on the phone. So when they're talking on the phone, they would talk into the phone as a normal telephone, but you would hear the best you can. But if you miss anything, all you gotta do is look at the screen and see the words from what the other person is telling you, so you don't miss anything. And it's done through a federal program, so there is no cost. There's no tricks, no hidden fees. There's absolutely no cost.
Right. And again, this is something that we don't realize, that if you have a phone, when you pay your phone, if you ever looked at your bill, it has a lot of fees.
Yeah.
And it's a fee for this and a fee for that. I mean, they tack on a lot of fees. And sometimes, like something like this, I think it's a good thing that somebody can just, have a small fee and be able to provide something like this for someone who's in need.
Exactly.
And so if you're paying for your fees, if you have a telephone, this is where it's going. So maybe if you're at that age already where you like, what, I can do this because I've already paid for it, then utilize it.
Right. So yeah, you might see that universal service fee on your bill, and that's what goes towards programs like this.
And so how do they have to like fill out an application, or do you do that over the phone, or how do they do it?
So it's a very simple process. All they have to do is give me a call, and I'll give the number again, 210-816-6267. 210-816-6267. We'll just have a brief conversation on the phone. I'll ask you a few questions, such as, are you experiencing hearing loss? Do you have internet service at home? Do you have an active landline? Pretty much that's it. We'll set up an appointment. I'll come out, install your phone, teach you how to use it, and you're all set. Very simple. I'll have you sign a medical release form stating the fact that you're experiencing hearing loss.
Okay, so it seems fairly easy, not too much paperwork involved. And I know nowadays, you get something, it's like, especially when the government's involved, like you got to do this, you got to do that.
Yeah.
It seems pretty simple to be able to get a phone like this that you will be able to use and benefit from it.
Mm-hmm. There's no applications. We don't deal with any insurances, and it doesn't matter on your financial situation.
So typically, the installation is an hour, 2 hours maybe?
I'd say between 35 minutes to an hour at the max. Yeah.
So that's a good thing, because I know sometimes now, I was surprised because when I got the internet here on the studio, they said, well, we'll be there from 8 to 9. I'm like, yeah, sure. And sure enough, I got here like 7:55, and the Spectrum guy was out in the parking lot waiting. I'm like, wow. I mean, that was impressive,
Oh yeah.
But that's a good thing that, if you maybe are scheduling, or you have a doctor's appointment, or, you have to be somewhere, it's a good thing to set up a time frame, so they know, okay, you're going to be there, and that way it's a good thing that, they can come by, and you're not going to waste time, and you're not going to be, put out as far as wondering, well, you said you'd be here and it's been all day.
Yeah. I'll schedule the appointment. I'll make sure I'm there on time. So I'll give you that number again. It's 210-816-6267. 210-816-6267. This is Gabe with ClearCaptions. If for any reason I don't answer, I could be with another person or doing a presentation. Just leave leave a voicemail, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Okay. Wow, we're already at the end of our program here. Gabriel, thank you so much for taking your time, and finally we were able to connect.
Yes.
This is something good that if you believe you benefit, or maybe a friend benefits, a family member benefits, you definitely want to get in touch with him. Again, he's Gabriel A. Silva. He is with ClearCaptions. Give him a call, area code 210-816-6267. Thank you again for joining us here on Bridging the Gap. Go to our Facebook page and go to our new YouTube channel and look at some of the past interviews here on Bridging the Gap. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, Sal.
This has been a Power of God production. This program has been sponsored by Last Chance Ministries and KDRY Radio.